Hey, it's Adler from FM 1021, and we're just sitting here talking about the normal
life.
things.
Yeah.
You know, exercise, the right diet, religion, in that order, surprisingly. Nathaniel Rateliff of the Night Sweats. Hi, fellas. Welcome back to Milwaukee.
Hey.
My God, I've already learned a lot about you.
I know.
That was all off record.
That was?
Yeah.
Completely.
What,
For another
else?
time, maybe.
No offense.
Let's
viewers.
let's talk about this for a moment. My God, this album is a wonderful thing. My favorite thing about it, and this is where you guys kind of know this, is listening to albums all the way through, making an album all the way through. The greatest thing on here is that intro is number 7. Somebody else had to have mentioned that.
Oh, that's been brought up. It really
my
blew the
favorite
Germans'
thing.
minds. They were like,
Really?
but then the second side starts with a song called the intro. Like, yep.
Why was it not the
Yeah.
intro?
But this doesn't. Yes.
Well, yeah, that song was one of the first tunes we ever had in this band, and it was kind of came up with to kind of fill some time because we didn't have enough material to play a full show.
It was kind of when we first were like kicking around SOB as an idea. Intro was another one, just like Joseph said, because we just didn't have enough material. So we're like, well, if we have these sort of jams we can vamp on, then we'll have enough music for 35 minutes. And that was kind of in there. And we tried to record it a bunch of different times, and it just never came across right. And then finally, I think our second time back to Richard Swift's, we had recorded a version of it really late one night after dinner, and just played it over and over again live in the studio until Richard fell asleep in the control room, actually.
On the
I guess
floor.
we have to
And then
stop now.
so there wasn't a definitive take. And then when we went back the second time, I was like, I think we need to look through all those takes, and I think there's one in there, and there was. So
Sure enough.
The longest version of intro, I'd imagine, is what? Does it go 10, 15 minutes? Or
no, it's actually
are they all pretty?
They're all pretty the same.
yeah.
Okay.
After playing it for 3 years, we've kind of defined.
It became a song.
Yeah.
It's a blast. It is the first time I heard it, I'm just like, this is I want to blast through a locked door with light behind me to that song, just so a room full of people go, holy shit, who's that? You're like,
Alder's here.
that's the kind of song that it is. It's got.
Well, you know, I think the reason why it didn't go first, too, though, was that Shoe Boot was the first tune we recorded with Richard.
Okay.
And we not everybody knew him, and we were all getting to know each other. We were having dinner the first day we were out in Oregon.
There's a lot of dinner.
A lot of
Dinner,
dinner, a lot of
dinner
drinks,
and these
catching up,
recording
getting to know
records.
each other. And then we went back to his studio for the first night, and he had everything, set up already, and he just said, let's just play me something so I can get some tones. And Mark had the basic structure of that tune, and we just started jamming on it. And then after about 30, 40 minutes or something, these guys had us come in the control room, and we hadn't heard anything we'd done yet. And we went in to listen, and we're like, oh yeah, it sounds good. Sounds like us.
And everybody just
And
kinda
Richard
caught
was
in.
like, that's it. That's the take. And we were like, what?
You're like, what?
Holy shit.
You don't got to say this at all.
So the fact that it kind of just naturally came out as the first tune we recorded together kind of made it feel like a good intro, non-intro
Shoe Boot as
intro.
well.
Yeah, Shoe Boot.
Deadpool 2 soundtrack. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we went to see it.
In
We were
Toronto.
like, we're in Toronto. We're like, we got to go see this movie.
Yeah.
Because we're in it, and everybody's like excited, and then it happens to be in the scene where he like wets himself at a bar stool. But it's like so far in the background, I was like, "Sit, guys," and everybody's like, "I can't even hear it." I was like,
hear it over the
well,
dialogue.
whatever.
I was wondering. I was going back. I watched it once, and I'm like, was it a fight scene? And then I had to look it up.
I was
And
really hoping it
somebody's-
would be like somebody puts a quarter into
Yeah.
a jukebox
Yeah.
and like,
And then things start happening.
Well, I think
and
some of that scene got cut too. So it's funny actually in a way. It's Patrick, our drummer, had a band, or has a band called the Centennial, and he and his ex-wife had that band, and they had a placement in some movie. I can't remember what it was. And they went to see them film and watched the whole film, and it got cut right at the last second. They didn't know. So in a way, it was like the second time Patrick's had this experience of going to see a movie that he thinks he has a song in, and then being kind of.
But at least the guy pissing himself means you're still in it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed
They
to-
didn't
more
cut that.
relevant to what we are, not a fight scene. So.
Well, our names were in the title credits or the closing credits, so that was
it counts.
pretty cool.
It
was really
counts. The other one is, and I know you guys are big Otis Redding fans, but "Be There" starts out as just a great Otis Redding sound
I know,
to it.
nice.
Right on.
And like all of this is the first time I listen to it. I'm just like, I write while I drive while I listen to things, which is not.
Wow. What kind of car do you drive? I'm going to
I never text
stay out
while
of the way.
driving, but I do write notes at red lights.
Yeah.
So I hope for the best.
Yeah.
And I just wrote OR, and I'm like, oh yeah, it was the Otis Redding one. And it's just like, then I wrote Babe I Know, the best song Ray Charles never recorded.
Right on. Nice.
I feel that's.
I was trying to go, and I actually found that song on like a voice recording, and it was just me sitting in my old kitchen, but at a different tempo and real slow.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like and I'm more done like kind of like a blues song, but I really like the progression and like kind of finish the words of the studio, and then we had done another version of it with Preservation Hall in New Orleans, and it just didn't pan out right. So I just in the studio with Richard, I was like, let's try it again, and I was like, how about if we do it in like a swing sort of tempo, and then we did it. It was just me and Pat and Mark all sitting in the same room together, playing together live, and just it's nice to have that feeling, because even in the studio, it's like I'm singing into the mic. I'm holding the guitar up on my knee and got a mic here that I'm singing and that is pointed at the guitar, recording both of us. And there's just that moment for me, like when the drums kick in, where it's just like that's like the song really starts, And it's funny too, because Mark was like, I was like, I don't know, like the piano part's a little stumbly. He's like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. You guys just kept the take. I was like, well, hey, no, that was a good, it was a good take,
All this sounds like very experimental too. I mean, there's a lot of you, so obviously, I doubt you're not all together.
We, like when Intro was recorded, we had Andreas Wild was playing Barry, and the other two horns weren't there yet, right?
No, everybody was there.
Oh,
for
everybody
Intro.
was there. Yeah.
Only Andy was there for Shoe Boot.
Right. So there were a few songs on the record where we were all actually in one room and didn't have headphones on. Like whenever half the record, if not a little bit more, was kind of recorded in a few days at the very end of our time that we had to record, and a lot of it was just the 5-piece rhythm section. The horns came in later, but we tried to do as much as we could where we were all in the room together. And some songs
talking it out or just playing.
Playing. We're figuring out things while we're in there, but a lot of these tunes, Nathaniel was finishing writing while we were in the studio, and so we had a week to record basically at the end of the period of time we had to record, and I think the 5 of us busted out like 7 songs in 3 days, and the horns came in. And when Mark and Luke and I flew out to meet Pat and Nathaniel, were already in Cottage Grove for a day and a half. We flew out to meet him, and I saw him at the airport, and I said, "Do you have any idea what we're going out here to record?" And they're like, "No, I have no idea." So we, he had a bunch of ideas still, but we just hashed them out, kind of on the spot.
Once you guys got all together.
Yeah.
No wonder you guys have a personal trainer, man. This is it's a lot. It's a busy schedule.
It's very busy.
It is, yeah. My girlfriend even was like, "Well, you and your busy life." I was like, "Hey, don't hold that against me. It's like I'm just working.
We're working, and we're honored.
These venues tonight at the Rave, FM102's Big Snow Show. Last summer, a little later than this, you were finishing up the last day of Summerfest, and I know we were talking about that before, that you were kind of hustling out because you had to go
somewhere,
Canada, Europe.
Now I can't remember where we're going, but yeah, we did have to hustle out. I think
huge bill. It was Dylan and Sheryl Crow and all these. It was just crazy. Then 2.5 years ago, you guys played Club Garibaldi here,
right?
So you've gone in kind of interesting.
Well, the interesting thing about Club Garibaldi too was that the previous project we had that was just Nathaniel's name, that was more singer-songwriter, folk-based.
Yeah, we played
Club Garibaldi.
Turner.
Yeah, we did Turner, and we did Pabst, but we played Club Garibaldi 3 or 4 times, and with that project, and I think the best we ever did was 50 or 60 people there. And actually, the last time we played there was a huge storm, and some sinkholes kept opening up, and all the other shows in town were canceled. Sinkholes were opening up and swallowing SUVs.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we played there.
But if you're gonna drive a Hummer, you might as well get stuck in
it. That's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a weird way, and it felt really good to come back and have that place completely packed out. I do remember at that point I was tour managing and playing bass, because things kind of picked up super quick for us, and our schedule was so crazy. We were on a bus all of a sudden, and we had a bus parked out in front of Club Garibaldi and just felt like a bunch of jerks. But I remember the owner, whoever was managing it at the time, telling me when I got there that day, he's like, "Man, Really glad you guys are. I'm really excited to see you play, but I'm more excited that people stop calling me every single day trying to see if there's any more tickets available.
You're like, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. But it felt good to come back to Milwaukee and have that kind of experience at a club that we had been to a bunch of times.
No, it's we love you no matter where you play. The last thing on here, this is fascinating to me. Hey Mama is just like the nicest. It puts everybody's Mother's Day card to shame, especially after seeing the video. You're like, everybody else is like, oh, damn it. Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I wonder if I could send this to my mom. I wonder if I could just open it. Like, I can't send her a digital thing. She's 72, so she's like, it'll just be a wasted email. But like, that was my thought. I'm like, oh, she'd probably like this. And I'm like,
we'll put it out on VHS and send it to you.
just a cassette.
Does she live around here? Should we just go
Las
play
Vegas.
it for her?
So no, it's she's probably come across it. But that's the video for that was great. And that
thanks.
was really well done.
That was our buddy Rhett, and that's actually our mom's in there.
Yeah,
So.
it's my mom in the beginning, and then Nathaniel's right after. And Rhett was actually the original bass player in this band, and I played guitar. And we made some changes, and Rhett's been with us ever since as like a videographer, and generally good dude.
It's
but he
turned out
conceived
really
he
nice.
conceived the idea, and it was such a personal idea that there were some reservations about making something that personal. You know. And I
Just
told my
really to
mom, don't
protect
read
her
any of the
mom,
comments. Like don't go down these roads because you're opening
never
yourself
think about
up
that.
to
Yeah.
And I know my mom reads the comments on stuff all the time anyway. She usually tips us off to like articles that we didn't even know were written about ourselves. Thanks, Ma. But I think Rhett did such a great job, and the response we've had has been really, really warm.
That's an angle I never even thought of. The fact that somebody would comment anything but.
Well, I mean, you're just open.
Yeah, there's
like,
a lot of
There's
people
a
out there
horrible
that
people
only
in this
have
world that
negative
don't
things
care.
to say. Yeah.
Because like the immediate reaction would be, well, what did you do for your mom? Did you write her a goddamn song? You're like, why do you have all this time to write comments on YouTube?
Right.
Because their mom never spanked them.
Because
That's
her
why.
mom, her mom never raised them right. That's
Yeah.
why. No, it's been a long kind of thing of you judge a person by how they treat their parents, by how they and it's a big thing. And it's not that it's easy, but people always wait till award shows to thank their parents. It's like
Right.
and that's a horrible place to thank them. Because
Yeah.
frankly,
Well, we
you
don't
know
go
it's
to.
all about you.
We haven't been to any award shows really. Maybe once.
Yeah, we didn't get-
Americana.
Yeah. but we didn't
Americana
get
Music
any.
Yeah.
Awards. Yeah.
But maybe
Last-
this
2
year, you
years
never
ago?
know.
Last year.
So.
Yeah.
See, that was one less person to thank. So then if you forget mom, you're like,
Yeah.
remember the song? You're like,
Well,
that was pretty good.
at the AMA award show, if anybody out there is watching who was there,
You hear that?
somebody in our
Nice,
band
let's get 'em.
accidentally spilled a glass of red wine on somebody's back
Oh, really?
in the crowd, and they didn't notice, and we just kind of let it slide, and we're
Were
really
they
sorry.
A sponge? How did they not
A dark
White suit.
blazer or something.
Oh,
like
okay.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, sorry about that.
like somebody got shot in the back.
Kind of.
Sorry. Well, thank you guys for coming back to Milwaukee.
Our pleasure.
The album is just nothing short of incredible. We've pretty much gone through it track by track now. And like I said, putting intro at number 7 to me is just, it's not lost on me, even if it's lost on the Germans. I got it. I get it. And there's a high German population in Milwaukee, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All right.
Thanks again for coming, guys.
Thanks so much.
Milwaukee always loves you.
We love you, Milwaukee.